Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about GM's OnStar subscription that is now mandatory on their vehicles. Before we get into the video though, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get right into it. So on the surface, this looks like a greedy cash grab by General Motors, but it's not that simple. It's in a little bit more of a gray area. So this pertains to OnStar, which is a company that General Motors actually owns. And OnStar basically builds out different services for customers of General Motors. Some of these services are just, basically luxury items within cars. Others are actual safety items within cars. And so the best way to look at OnStar is it's basically a tech company that General Motors owns. Now, the product that we're talking about in today's video is not necessarily a new product from OnStar, but it is a product from OnStar that is now going to be applied to pretty much every single vehicle that is sold within General Motors vehicle lineups. And this product is going to cost anywhere from $0 on some vehicles to like $1,500 on other vehicles. And that's probably the headline that you've seen everywhere, is that, oh, General Motors is going to force you to pay $1,500 for this new service. And it's like, okay, well, that's not exactly accurate. Some vehicles are going to be that much, but there are vehicles where this is a no-cost item, and some vehicles are somewhere in between, like, $800-900, for example. But the point being made is there is now a 3-year subscription that you are either getting for free with certain vehicles, or you're having to pay for with certain vehicles that you may not use. Now, this subscription contains a few different items. It gives you remote key fob access, unlimited data, vehicle diagnostics, Wi-Fi hotspots, and then it also gives you access to the OnStar Guardian app. 3 years. And like I said, in some vehicles, it's $1,500. Now, if you want to continue access to all of those features, you can pay a subscription after that point to OnStar to keep up the services. You're not automatically going to be enrolled into these services. You actually have to apply, similar to Sirius XM. If you guys have ever had that on a vehicle, which I have, and well, as cool as satellite radio is, it's so annoying with how many calls you get from Sirius XM to resubscribe. It is just crazy. Like, maybe it's just because I own so many vehicles that have that as brand new, and I never resubscribe to it, that I'm getting like all these calls for all of my different vehicles, because it seems like it's like every other day I get called. It's crazy. But anyways, similar to that, you have to resubscribe to it. It's not just going to automatically put you into the subscription, which I think is great. Now, obviously there has been a lot of heat on this subject, and that's actually why I refused to make a video when this news first came out, is because I wanted to research into it a little bit more, and I wanted to take a step back and kind of look at this situation and kind of try to be level-headed, because it seems like every single outlet is like, oh, General Motors is at it again. They're trying to price gouge their customers, and again, it's not exactly that simple. So like I said earlier in the video, in some vehicles, this is not going to cost you any extra money. This doesn't increase the price of the vehicle. It's literally being offered for free. And so I don't see that as a problem. Even if someone doesn't use the services, then they're not paying any extra for it with some vehicles. And if they don't use the services and don't resubscribe, then it doesn't change anything. Now, for the vehicles that you do have to actually pay for the subscription, this is where things kind of get into a little bit more of a gray area. So first off, a lot of these services offered under the subscription are not normal vehicle services that are typically offered on the window sticker of a car. And what I mean is, if you look at these services like the remote key access with a phone app, starting up a car and all that kind of stuff, that is all stuff that is pretty new technology within vehicles that has typically been tied to subscriptions already. And so it's not like they're going the BMW route, for example, and making you pay a subscription for automatic headlights and heated seats, for example. Yes, BMW yeah, did do that for a while, and I think they're still doing that with certain regions, where they're literally making you pay $10 a month for heated seats. It's something like that I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. So General Motors is not doing that, and so I think that is something that needs to be taken into consideration, is they're not taking away features that have been readily available on their cars for a really long time and now putting them behind a paywall. This is what a lot of other manufacturers have attempted to do. What they're doing is they're offering new features that, again, have been available for probably half a decade, maybe a decade on their vehicles via subscriptions, and now they're trying to push it onto customers a little bit more by, yes, increasing the price on certain vehicles slightly, kind of forcing you into the subscription, but it is at least giving people, I guess, a chance to experience it to see if they want to pay for that in the future. Now, obviously, it is annoying that they're forcing people to pay for this, but at the same time, like I said, it's in a little bit of a gray area. Now, there's obviously some confusion over why General Motors made this an option that's a mandatory option, because then that's standard equipment and didn't put it in the standard equipment section. And here's my thought process on that side of things. So if General Motors made this standard equipment on the cars and basically just increased the MSRP on their cars based on this subscription, so like in a GMC Canyon, for example, increased the MSRP by like $1,500, and then, you know, on other vehicles, maybe it was like $800 or $900, then that would make their vehicles less appealing on the market, because then this sounds really weird, but this is just a marketing thing. When you would Google their vehicles, then they would all be, you know, $1,500, $800, whatever dollars more expensive as the base MSRP compared to what they are today. And so it wouldn't make them look as good compared to the competition. So I think that's why General Motors put this in the options section, is so that they can keep their base MSRP at the amount that it's at now and not increase that. I know that that's a really weird way to go about things, but I think that's why they ended up doing it that way. But obviously it is kind of annoying because it's not really an option. It's standard equipment. So like, that's one thing that I will say. I understand, I think that's why they did it, but at the same time, I don't think that they should have done it that way, because I think that's what's caused a lot of the controversy, is the fact that this is an optional equipment, but it's not really an option you can choose. And also, people don't want to pay for something that they're not going to use. But ultimately, in terms of the ramifications of this, dealers basically aren't really noticing any sort of uproar from customers. Customers aren't coming in and saying, oh, I'm not going to order a car anymore because that, you know, $800, $1,500 3-year subscription on OnStar. People are still ordering cars like normal. And so a lot of the fuss is being brought up by journalists and media outlets, and they're trying to make this into a bigger situation than it is, when in reality, yes, there are customers that are definitely upset about this, but most of these people are not going to postpone or completely cancel a purchase based on $800 or $1,500. Most new vehicles, right? The average price of a brand new vehicle is like $47,000 in today's market. And a lot of these vehicles that have this product on it are $50,000 to $100,000. And so when this is an $800 to maybe $1,500 subscription thing that's added onto the price, it's increasing the price by like 1% in a lot of vehicles, which is, it's something, it's not nothing, but ultimately it's not really moving things too far forward. So in terms of my final thoughts on this, I think that the whole situation was slightly mismanaged in terms of like the fact that this is put as an option, but it's not really an option. But at the same time, I think that this whole situation is being overblown. I don't think it's as big of an issue as everyone's making it out to be, because General Motors is still letting people have normal car options and not pay subscriptions for it. You don't have to pay a subscription for heated seats. You don't have to pay a subscription for automatic headlights, right? You're being forced initially to pay a subscription for some services that you might not ever use. But at the same time, now that you have access to them, maybe you're going to use them and find, oh, actually, I like having Wi-Fi in my car. Oh, actually, I like using this phone app, right? And then you're going to be like, oh, this is something I'm going to use. That's what General Motors is hoping. So, yeah, again, it's a gray area. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I think that there's some positives to it. There's some negatives to it. I want you guys to let me know what you think about the whole situation. That's going to sum things up.